Hello and welcome back to Paul's Beer Reviews. Tonight I've got an IPA for you, and it's an IPA from a brewery I've not reviewed a beer from before, and they are called Brewboard, and they're coming out of Cambridge, which isn't too far away from me, and it is a can of their Turmoil India Pale Ale, coming in at 6.5% ABV. Interesting artwork on this one. We've got a gentleman in a suit with kind of taps for head, and he's packing a machine gun there, and he seems to be in control of, looks like an oil refinery, and I think hence the title Turmoil. So quite an interesting sounding IPA, this one. There isn't really much in the way of taste notes on it. Just says ingredients: water, barley, hops and yeast. So yeah, it's a 6.5% ABV IPA. Silver can, 330ml with this bit of artwork on it. I got this from my latest Beer 52 pack. Yeah, so we'll get it out into a glass and see what we get, shall we? So yeah, quite excited to get stuck into this one. It's a really lively one. Thought I was going to lose a bit of it there. Oh wow. It's a very dark looking IPA. Turmoil by name. There's obviously a bit of the character to it as well, I'd imagine. It's looked quite thick on the pour. Leave that there so we can see the artwork, which is pretty cool, I've got to say. So there is the Turmoil India Pale Ale. It's got a big 2-finger tan head on it. Quite a frothy one, quite a thick looking head on it. Colour of the beer itself, I say, is quite it's like a coppery in colour. It looks like a caramel, dark caramel in colour. Looks like it's coming up slightly darker on the screen, but yeah, like a caramel, coppery dark brown in colour. But yeah, it's quite a nice looking IPA, this one. Interesting. Let's give it a bit of a wriggle, see if we can get an aroma. That smells lovely. That smells nice. A bit of grapefruit, tropical fruit, as you'd expect from most IPAs. It's strange. There's a strange nose to it. You're getting the tropical fruit, the grapefruit, the mango, the passion fruit that you'd expect from an IPA. But just after that, there's a very yeasty aroma to it. Very yeasty. I don't know if this is going to sound strange, but there's almost a Marmite smell to it. That's what I'm getting anyway. I'm getting the tropical fruit, and then just behind that there's this weird kind of yeast extract, Marmite-y smell to it. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. Fruit and Marmite. That seems like a strange aroma. I don't think I've ever smelt that on a beer before, but let's get a taste, see what we get. Cheers, guys. Whoa. That's interesting. Quite hoppy, this one. It's not particularly fruity on the taste. There's a slight sweetness when it first hits the tongue, but not particularly fruity. That tropical aroma doesn't really follow through on the flavour. It's very yeasty. It has a very nice bready, malty taste to it, and then the hops. It's all about the hops with this one, almost straight away. I say there's a slight kind of refreshing lightness to it when it first hits your tongue, and then the hops and that maltiness come in together, and the bready maltiness to it is quickly taken over by the hops. Still taste the hops on it now. Not a hop bomb. It's not overly bitter. It is very odd. This is a very odd beer. I mentioned the Marmite aroma. There's no real fruitiness on the taste of this. No, not really. Anyway, I mean there might be the slightest bit of dark fruit, fig in there maybe at the beginning of the palate, but it quickly becomes this yeasty and then hoppy taste to it, and if you're familiar with yeast extract or Marmite, it tastes like there's Marmite in it. It's weird. I quite like Marmite. When they advertise the product itself, Marmite, they always say you either love it or you hate it. I quite enjoy Marmite. This is very weird. People have probably drunk this and be watching this and thinking, what the hell is he on about? But I taste Marmite. It's a very subtle taste of Marmite, but refreshing. It's not horrible. It's actually quite nice. It's not a sweet beer. It's quite a savoury one. It's quite a savoury IPA, this one. Like I say, you get that tropical fruit aroma initially, and then that Marmite-y thing that I'm going on about. I'd love to know what's in it. They haven't specified on the can what hops. It just says water, barley, hops and yeast. I mean, I could the best describe it. I just think they've used a lot of yeast or a certain strain of yeast to get this flavour and aroma. But it reminds me of Marmite. That's the only way I can describe it. I've never had a beer like this before in my life. This is new to me. This is very peculiar. But I'm kind of enjoying it. If someone said to me, yeah, I'll give you a beer that smells and tastes like Marmite, I'd have been like, I don't really fancy that. But yeah, this is a bit of a surprise. As soon as I poured it from the can, I thought this is going to be a bit different, and it certainly is. It's got a lovely mouthfeel to it, really nice levels of carbonation, a lovely smooth drinkable mouthfeel. It's not particularly thin. It's got quite, there's actually quite a thicker, fuller mouthfeel to it, but it's very yeasty. Very yeasty. There's kind of a nice kind of malty backbone to it, and then them hops kick in. And it really takes over all of the palate, the hops. But it's not overly bitter. It's quite pleasant. But it's just got a very peculiar taste to it. And as I say, the only thing that really jumps out is the slightest bit of dark fruit, and then Marmite or yeast extract, as it really is, Marmite. And Marmite is black. It kind of looks like oil. So I'm kind of putting two and two together here, and they named the beer Turmoil, and they've got this oil refinery kind of artwork going on with it. Maybe that's what this is meant to be, but I'm still tasting Twiglets. I don't know if anyone's had Twiglets, savoury snack. They kind of taste like, that's what it tastes like. It's like Twiglets in a beer. It's really odd, but not unpleasant. Oh, the more I taste it, the more sips I have of it, the more that savoury yeastiness is coming through. The flavour's getting stronger on it. It's very peculiar, but very interesting. Really interesting one, this one. Yeah, I'm a little bit thrown by it. I wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, Turmoil by Brewboard. IPA, 6.5% ABV. You are getting a slight boozy taste at the back end of it. But it kind of works with the general flavour of it, that kind of marmitey, yeasty malt taste to it. There's no fruitiness to it. There's no real sweetness to it, apart from the very beginning. It's a very peculiar IPA, this one. It's interesting. I'm not sure I would drink it again. I'm not sure I'd go out of my way to get hold of this one again, but it's very interesting. I'll give it a score. I mean, it's like nothing I've ever drunk before. So I'll give it scores for originality. It's very interesting. I would love to kind of delve into the minds of the brewers to find out what they were thinking when they put this one together. And if the stuff that I'm coming out with makes any sense whatsoever. But to me, it tastes like Marmite flavoured beer. Twiglets in a beer. It's really interesting. Yeah, I'm going to give it a score. I'm going to... Again, I'm not sure if I'd drink it again. It's not something I would probably go back to. Definitely not a sessionable one. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Because it's not unpleasant. It's very interesting. It's very well made. Taste is a really good quality to the beer. I'm going to give Turmoil a 7 out of 10. So 7 out of 10 for Brewboard's Turmoil IPA. Yeah, I mean, let me know. Have you had this one before? Have you ever seen it before? Perhaps look out for it if you're up for something completely different. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Give the video a big thumbs up. Leave your comments below, and thank you for subscribing. Those who have, if you haven't, please subscribe. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Take care.